Hello and welcome back to Epic 40, powered by Intel. Tim, the group stage is over. It's done. It's done and dusted. It's out of the way. We're into the playoffs.
That we are. We're going to be taking on an upper bracket quarter-final game. So the first and second seed coming out of their respective groups, and it's going to be Soulsland versus Granny's Knockers, but good.
Yeah, not to be confused with Granny's Knockers.
Yeah.
So, in theory,
Yeah.
could be quite a close game. Soulsland, they've come through their group and they've won a fair few of their games. They've dropped a game to K10. It was quite decisive. It was a 13-3.
In all but one game, K10 looked very decisive, except against my ex-teammates of I Need More Bullets.
Yes. K10 have absolutely breezed through the group stage. This one, Soulsland, to be fair, I think they've only dropped one series, one map coming through. So they've come through hot.
They're a hot topic recently. Coming into it, so most of the Soulsland is comprised of Chinese players who have come over to the UK for university, and they're a university team, and a lot of them are very individually skilled. It's almost stereotypical of Chinese CS, at least East Asian CS, that you get a lot of really high raw mechanical skill, really skilled players, but just the level in terms of the fundamentals and the actual quality team play lacking in that region. And I think we from what we can tell, at least from what we've heard, that's the same situation here, as they've come over from China to come to uni, playing as a university team, made themselves a name in places such as Newell, and even forming a team that they've played ESEA Open, and I believe
they got promoted to main.
Promoted straight to main from ESEA Open.
Which, you know, for a uni level team, you don't tend to see uni level teams breaking out, especially like main level. That's just a normal team in the UK scene as far as we're concerned. Main, absolutely a solid level to play at. Yeah. So coming into this, they're clearly competent.
And I've been speaking to a lot of people who have been in their group, the group of death as it was called, Group B, I believe it was, and everyone was saying they were all surprised about how individually skilled these players are.
And it's going to be something that catches you off guard, especially coming to LAN as well. New game, and banging heads off. It's going to be one of those things. You come over to Granny's Knockers, but good. This is a mixed team.
I think that it still applies, though. Speaking of banging heads off, like these players individually are also very skilled.
Yeah, I mean, Wolfie, who was recently added to the Verdant roster. Yeah. I think one of the best aimers in the UK.
Absolutely. That was one of the things, so when I spoke to Artist about that roster, about how Wolfie was settling into Verdant, one of the key things he mentioned was he's the crispest aimer he's ever seen. And that's no short feat. Artist has played with some incredible players, such as the likes of Volt, who's played in Into the Breach, currently in Gamer Legion, who made top 8 of a major, myself. That's just to name a few. So it's high praise saying that Wolfie's got incredible aim coming from Artist. And I think everyone knows that a couple other players, like Oscar, he's a player who's played a lot in Royals. Anyone who's played up against him knows that he individually can pop off and can hit some insane shots. Yeah,
and he's been towards the top end of the scoreboard from some of the games I've been standing behind earlier. I can't remember who they were playing against, but Oscar was up there at the top of the scoreboard. Vision as well was having some great games.
He's a player who's, I think, gone under the radar. He almost had a bit of a, not a resurgence, what's the word? He sort of got a bit of spotlight shown on him in a lineup which was made their way from Inters into main. I can't remember exactly what the name of that lineup was, but I remember watching that and thinking and playing a couple of pugs with him and thinking he was a really promising player, but not really seen much from him in the last couple years, I'll be honest, since then.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes these players, they come in individually skilled, they have trouble gelling into teams, or sometimes they choose even not to, go for that FPL grind instead.
Or there's life things get in the way.
Yeah, of course, we're not at a stage where...
You don't know what people's priorities are.
Yeah, and we're not at a stage where the majority of people could sit in and grind CS all day without having some sort of organisational backing or whatever. I mean, that's a bit of an issue at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see these two teams play off against each other, because both of them have had a good run coming through here. I think Granny's Knockers, but good, have lost a fair few more rounds than Soulsland have, but I don't think it's by much.
Yeah. Granny's Knockers, but good. I believe they topped their group, and that was due to a big upset that has happened. So for those who haven't been following this tournament, you've got Puffle Pals. They're a team who is seed pot 1, which means they're top 4 seed in this entire event. So they're the first seed in their group, in Group A, I believe it was. Was it Group A?
Group A?
Let me just double check.
Group A.
Yeah, in Group A, they were the top seed. And they lost how many games did Puffle Pals lose? We've just getting the data. We don't want to be incorrect.
Puffle Pals, they've won 3, lost 2.
So they lost 2. They got upset twice. One of them being Granny's Knockers, but good. The other one being Froggians, if I remember correctly. That was an overtime draw, actually. Hang on.
Oh, okay. They've had an OT. They've had an OT win and a draw as well. So they've won 3.
Yeah.
4 if you count the one that was in overtime.
Yeah.
Then they've lost 2 and tied 1. I looked at that. I was like, they've won 3, they lost 2, but they're meant to have played 7 games. Yeah.
Besides the point, the point is that Puffle Pal's massively been upset, and they've not come even in the top 2 in their group. I think they came 4th in the group as first seed.
Yeah,
fourth seed in their group, and they come 4th. So Granny Knockers coming into this one, big upset for them to top the group. But also, again, you've got to bear in mind those individuals, as you mentioned, Wolfie playing towards the top of the UK scene. You've got a lot of chemistry on that lineup as well, with the likes of Westy being one of his close friends.
Yep.
Oscar, I know, has played with Westy a lot in certain Royals mixes. So there is chemistry to be built between this lineup, and it's going to be a very, I think, a close game, judging by the 2 play styles we've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think chemistry is something that can't be understated. It's something that it's very hard to build.
Yeah.
Even when you're playing in a team, you're practicing all the time. Sometimes it's very difficult to build chemistry with people that you're playing on bomb sites with. So if they're pugging together, playing together just casually, even if it's other games, like the coordination, knowing each other's tendencies. I know, like, I played on a team with a guy for over 2 years, and it got to a point where we didn't even have to communicate on B-site Inferno. We just, somebody would move slightly.
You already know how someone's going to react before they say it.
Yeah, you just understand everything about them, and they could move towards a position. I'm like, right, they want to be flashed in before they even have to call for it. So stuff like that can really help you, especially at a LAN like this where we've got 2 teams here, like two proper teams.
And
here.
even then, one of them has got a stand-in, missing an AWP who has just recently left the lineup. That's K10 for those who aren't aware. Their AWPer in Nino recently steps down, and now they've got 360, an old player, coming in, who's going to be playing the rifle. And it's Adam JC who's playing the AWP for them, which is like strange. So even then, yes, you've got 2 teams, both of them with stand-ins.
Yeah. So it's just a weird one because we've got one of the biggest turnouts as well. Like, this is a 32 team LAN, I believe.
32.
So 32 teams. I think we were on the verge of going to away from round robin and into Swiss. The admins were getting a bit stressed about that in the run up to the event. They're like, there's 31 teams, guys. 31 teams. But I'm sure they'd have handled it anyway, of course. But so there's a lot of teams, and that means we have 30 mixers. Yeah. Out of the 32 teams that are present.
Although, no, you've got to bear in mind there are some teams who are proper teams. Like, for example, Soulsland's, they're not.
Soulsland, of course. Yeah,
exactly.
No, you're right.
The team we've talked about for this entire game, they are an actual team. But again, in terms of the UK, in terms of the top level, we've only got 2 representations. In terms of, I'd say, the top 5 in the UK, there's only 2 of them here.
In terms of our top 5, I'm looking forward to it. I'd be interested to see how the maps go as well. I think that could define the series.
We're going to playoffs, so it's going to be a best of 3 throughout this. So far in the group stage, it's all been best of 1s, which on CS2, now that we've gone to MR12, less rounds means it's going to be closer games. The chance of upset is, you could argue, is going to be higher. Again, the jury is out on whether that is the case. But I think the fact that it is CS2, the fact that it's a new game, the fact that there's new changes, the fact there's innovations, that means there's going to be upsets because you're going to have people who are going to have gimmicks that people aren't aware of. It's not like the meta is well established on CS2. So there are going to be upsets, and the best of 1 format in the group stage does lend itself to that. And we're going to be coming into best of 3s now in the playoffs. So the map veto is something which going to be really interesting to look at.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the history of CS, even when we've had defined metas, then you've had teams come in from other regions, such as Tyloo, for example, and they've come in with a new, fresh take on the game. Remember when they were doing those 5 smoke executes onto the A bomb site? And whilst, they got countered fairly quickly, for the few games that they played in the initial stages, people didn't know how to handle them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's these small things where it takes time to adapt, find solutions, or at least find the most effective and efficient solutions to the problems that you're faced with. And it'll be something which, as a mix, is going to be hard to deal with because you already are so focused on making sure you have those fundamentals, having those foundations which teams already have. Your attention is focused on making sure you have those to begin with.
Yeah.
You don't really have the mental capacity to be able to focus on adapting to those sort of things on the fly unless you have that chemistry built up already.
Yeah. And I think it will come down to the map choices. If we see some of the puggier maps, if we see a Mirage come out, then a team like Granny's Knockers but good are going to have an absolute field day on a map like that.
As far as I'm aware, Soulsland, if I remember correctly, do like a bit of Mirage and Anubis. Those are 2 maps which they're from what I've seen, they've liked to play, at least in vetoes. I don't know how successful they have been on those maps, but I know those are maps which they're more than willing to play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially like the stuff that Wolfie brings in as well. Obviously coming from a top-level UK team.
That's one of the things which is noticeable when you join such a high-level team, when you go to those advanced level teams, those the top 4 in the UK, is that there are small things, small details which you never even considered, which you can learn and then bring in. And it's these really small things, like the whole fundamental approach to a map. You can understand how a certain part of map control works and how it can be implemented into your gameplay. And you can just say, look, guys, I've just learned this from playing. Wolfie can go, look, in playing Verdant, Artist has taught me this cool thing, or Biscu's taught me this cool thing, and it's really simple to implement. We should just do it.
And that's knowledge digesting down as well, because we know Artist, he's a keen demo watcher. He loves a demo. Watches plenty of, like, he watches absolutely loads. He gets through so many. So he's going to be then
sleepless nights.
He's going to be taking all of that demo, digesting it down, giving it to his teammates. Wolfie can then take the best of that, the most that applies to a sort of more of a puggy scenario, give that to his teammates. We already know. I had a chat with Kieran Biscu at iSeries, and I was asking about CS2 because that was when the test had been broadened. Everyone had sort of got access, and he was like, we're still obviously focusing on Go for practice, but I've been keeping a keen eye on it and making sure that we're staying up to date, as I think most teams will have been.
Especially the coaches should,
But like keeping an eye on it. I know Artist and Extinct were climbing their way up the EU rankings as well in the open test, like plenty on the way up in the Premier rankings. So they've been getting a real grip of it. And then again, that knowledge gets passed over. If you're in a team with somebody, you tend to pick up all these little tricks that they've been studying. It's a good way of passing the information around. I think more so than if you're just pugging with a consistent 5.
Definitely. And I think one thing to mention, we brought it up quite a bit already, is the fact that Soulsland are a Chinese team. Now, in these UK events, especially Epic LAN, teams, you often play the same faces. You often see these tendencies. You know how the UK philosophy of Counter-Strike is. You know what people's mentality and the culture is going to be like. It's a familiar situation. It's not going to be familiar for Soulsland. But I think that goes more of a benefit to them, because Granny's Knockers, but good, they're not going to be so familiar with how Soulsland are going to be playing. They're not players they've been playing against in pugs or within pugs or playing in teams against for years, for multiple Epic LANs, multiple seasons. They're brand new. They're going to bring things and bring a style of play which people aren't going to have seen.
I mean, you come to a UK LAN, you expect to, you know what you're getting into for a UK playstyle.
Regardless of if that is a big difference, it makes just as much difference sort of mentally. They don't know what to expect. Therefore, they're going to be a little bit on edge. They might be a little bit worried, or for all we know, they could just not care. They could just be taking the game as it goes.
Now, I believe we've got the map vetoes, so we're going to get those up on the screen, so we can figure out exactly which battleground this series is going to be taking place on. I'm quite interested to see it. So we've got Overpass ban out of Soulsland, Inferno ban out of Granny's Knockers, but good, Tim.
Yeah. Overpass and Inferno ban. It's going to be an Ancient pick, Mirage pick. Now, this does make sense. Again, from what I'm aware, Soulsland do like a bit of Ancient. It's a nice map. It's a very simple map. There's not too much complexities when it comes to that map. And this, even more so for Mirage. Mirage is the most unchanged map. These maps, in fact, this whole pool, with the exception of Nuke, I'll say, leans really well to sort of a mixed style of play, which both these teams, well, I say both these teams, which at least Granny's Knockers are going to be bringing, hence why they've got that Mirage pick. But anything can happen on Mirage. It's really hard for me to actually digest anything about this veto, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's a very much unknown territory. I think it's going to be a fun set, though, especially Nuke. I love watching Nuke in CS2. I'm hoping we get a third map. I'm hoping we go all around, get all the maps in, because Nuke is just so much fun to watch with the smoke additions, being able to blow open the smokes. It adds a whole new layer of approaching outside as CTs.
Yeah, it does.
And as well, you've been hammering on about that, the vent smoke, the squeaky smoke.
So, again, I'll just explain for those who haven't been watching. With the changes in the smoke nades, how the HEs blow open the smoke grenades, most people have been focusing on how the wall of smokes can be changed in towards Nuke. So a key part of the Nuke meta is throwing these walls of smoke to get map control. There's multiple variations, and it's the most important part of the T sides on Nuke. But with the fact that you can blow use HEs to blow those smokes open, get information at CTs, everyone's been focusing and raving about that. But one thing which has gone unnoticed in that is the HE, the default HE that CTs often throw from top hut, which lands on the squeaky smoke on a perfect timing to stop vent dives. That was already used to do damage and prevent vent rushes and do a lot of damage and make things easier. But now it's going to blow open that squeaky smoke. You can completely destroy any possibility of an early vent dive as long as you've got a molly or a HE.
Yeah, And it just adds, again, a whole new level. Even on Mirage, you've got the Monazi smoke, where or the Monazi HE, sorry, where you've got to line up just behind that little bit of scaffolding in window, bouncing the HE off the floor. You take no damage, but you can peek right behind the smoke as it pops.
I think that's a really good point. As Mirage, it's going to be the second map guaranteed to play. It's the most unchanged map in this pool. As all the skybox have been opened, Mirage's skybox was already open. So I believe Mirage is a map where we're going to see people are going to be adjusting to changes on all the maps, but Mirage, there's no changes to adjust to other than those HE differences, the HEs and the smokes. Therefore, I think we're going to see it a little bit more on that, especially if these two teams have been getting used to how to play it. Considering Granny's Knockers are the ones to pick it, then it makes sense that they would have at least been warmed up on that map. But again, as I mentioned before, I believe Soulsland are a comfortable team when it comes to Mirage. Yeah,
and if that's the case, then we could be seeing 3 maps, Tim. And I'm hoping we do. I'm really, really hoping that we see all 3 maps. I think it's what the series deserves. And honestly, like because it was quite a struggle going through. We were deciding which maps, which series that we thought. Coming from this, because there's so many unknowns, as we said, with so many mixed teams present. It's not like we can say, oh, this team is coming up against this really strong mix. It's very up in the air.
We can't just look at them and go, oh, that's a banger because these two teams are 2 high-level teams because of the amount of mixes, as you said. But this one made the most sense, I think, due to that upset which happened in Group A with Puffle Pals dropping down. We've got in terms of the seeding at least, we've got 2 second seed teams facing off against each other, so it is quite evenly matched there.
Yeah, and I think that's what ultimately we'll have to do. Obviously, there's been seeding upsets, but we looked at this game and we thought, yeah, this is probably a good one to get on with.
Yeah.
Now that the maps are decided as well, Ancient, Mirage, Nuke. I mean, I'm loving watching all these, all 3 of these in CS2.
And one thing which is interesting to know, I've been talking to a lot of the players about some of these changes, and Ancient is one of the maps where a lot of changes have come into it with the skyboxes being open.
Of course,
it was already a map where throwing grenades from spawn was already a possibility. It was already seen used, not all the time, but you'd see the odd smoke. T-spawn it was. You'd have the instant window smokes. You'd have instant cave smokes in different variations of Ancient. You'd have those smokes. CT spawns, you'd often sometimes see maybe the B door smoke from CT spawn. But now the skybox is open, you're fully capable of throwing smokes from the spawn at any location, as well as the spawn changes. For those who aren't aware, the T-spawn, since CS2 has been updated, has had a couple more spawns added. So that means the chances of the T's having a more forward spawn is now slightly less. There's a chance that they'll have even further back spawn, so the timings for them taking contact to be able to challenge for map control is a little bit worse for the T's, so it gives that CTs a possibility of defending map control a little bit stronger.
I always thought after that change came in to Ancient about the spawn changes and moving it so that they can reach Jaguar at roughly the same time as the CTs. I always felt that those engagements were really awkward. So I am kind of glad that those extra spawns have been added just to move it back a bit, because I think ultimately that's a position where the CT should probably start with control, even if it's they just get there first, you know, because obviously T-side they're meant to be attacking. So
it makes sense for the stuff with the T's have to work the map control off of the CTs in the first place.
Yeah, no, exactly that.
Unlike on Anubis, where you almost the T's have all the map control, it's about them working onto the site.
Yeah, and the site's difficult to get on. Looks like we are.
Oh, it's going to be Mirage first.
Oh no, full start.
Full start. Full start. We went into Mirage there. I'm pretty sure the veto was Ancient, Mirage, then
Nuke. Yeah, I was getting all excited.
Who knows which side the error is on? That's the question.
We'll find out. Don't know. We'll have to find out. It's probably players, you know, you ask them to, obviously with CS2, we unfortunately have to, because Valve dropped the update, there's very little community server support. It's it's a wild west out there at the minute for plugin development. I've been looking into it myself a little bit. It's absolutely wild out there. We still don't have source mod, for example. They're still working away on that. So at the minute, it's like the players have to vote in-game using the in-game functions. And if you try and get Counter-Strike players to do anything, it's very difficult.
Good, especially at an Epic LAN.
Especially, it seems like
you've got people
leave
with
your brain cells at the door.
Short attention spans. People, with very little brain cells. You've also got the fact that people are going to be possibly drinking, and there's plenty of distractions. So chance of people all voting the correct thing. And we even had this before with a previous Epic LAN plugin. People would accidentally press the wrong button when voting, so you then have to do the revote.
Or like when you were going for pauses. It looks like we're starting with Mirage. Interesting. But it looked like when you were going for pauses and it had to be unanimous. And there'd always be that one person who presses no for
who accidentally presses the wrong
just
key,
a bit of trolling.
But yeah, we're going to be kicking off the pistol round already here on Mirage. The first map of this best of 3 series. Soulslands versus Granny's Knockers. Seems like Soulsland's playing in a decent setup here. We've got an information play, Synergy, walking towards ramp. He's not going to find anything. That's going to cause a rotation to come out of the rest of the players. The issue is it is going to be A, just not from ramp. It's the one place he's pushed. Going to have 3 players walking in from underpass towards connector. Again, no mid control, no information for Soulsland. It's almost like they're being lulled into a full sense of security here. But XRT is going to find them.
Wolfie with the opening.
Contact.
Westy's going to get that bomb planted. A bomb site fully in control of Granny's Knockers, but good here. It's going to have to be a retake out of Soulsland here, and they've got no defuse kit on the board at the moment. Just running with that Kevlar. Time still ticking down. Already a third of the bomb gone. Sundance Kid opens things up nicely. Vision with a quick equalizer. Sundance Kid coming in with yet another headshot. Harbour Boy with 1. Wolfie and Westy left to clutch it out. Harbour Boy continuing his tear. He's picked up 3 kills. Wolfie now in the 1 versus 3. Pivoting around with the Glock, lands the first shot, looking for the second, he lands it. The bomb's being stuck, but there's no defuse kit, and so Sundance Kid going to have to come off it.
The time ticking. And Wolfie's done it. The 1 versus 3 clutch, a 4K in the total of the round. He gets the entry onto the site in the first place, and then the 1 versus 3. What a brilliant state of affairs for him. The young Verdant player, as mentioned before, showing his experience on the server, getting Granny's Knockers, but good, off to a good start.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how dangerous Wolfie could be on the server. We talked about his aim. We talked about the experience. And there you go. It shows it exactly there. 4 kills in the pistol round. Absolutely dominating Soulsland. They are going to be on an eco now, just down to Deagles. A couple of USPs.
Yeah, we'll see how they decide to play this with weaker weaponry. Looks like they're going for a little bit of a B stack. 1 player on his lonesome, that being Wims, towards A site playing retake. But I like this. Granny Knockers, they're playing good fundamentals, playing together, playing trading. This is almost unexpected from I'm going to say from a mix, but nowadays this is sort of, these are players who can play to a higher level despite being a mix. So again, it's all about fundamentals for them. They're not going to have a deep playbook because they're a mixed team. So that's what they've got to focus on, and they're doing it quite well so far. Again, all 5 players now in mid, grouping up. We've just got 3 players walking up to catwalk, and contact is taken. Westy takes down XRT. Sundance Kid is going to find one on the Deagle, but at this point, 4 players now barreling into this B site. We've got 2 players lying in wait, tucked into these corners, and they're ready for them. Vision, Wolfie, guns out. Harbour Boy's able to find 1 and surprise, but again, the trading coming in clutch here for Granny's Knockers, but good. It's just Wims left in the 1 versus 3.
Yeah, decent bit of damage, given that it's an eco. If Wims can find another on the exit, then that's even more economic damage done. I mean, it's the majority of players lost, right? Question is he's going to be able to pull it off, or is he just going to back away and not even give across the kill reward? It looks like he's going for a bit of a save.
Yeah, there's no reason to give away that $300. Obviously, he could, if he wanted to, go for an exit or even try and pick up one of the dropped rifles towards short. But he's just going to be playing, what? Partly for stats, partly for denying economy, and denying also stats for Granny Knockers.
Yeah.
It's already off to a good start. I'm actually quite impressed. I've not seen Granny's Knockers with good play so far this event myself. It's hard to keep up when you've got so many games going on at once with that round-robin group stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's plenty of games. You're hopping all around the LAN hall. Yeah,
and I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised already 2 rounds in by the fundamentals I've seen by this team. Every single engagement, it's just been 3-2. Every single one. 3 players grouped up in 1 pack, 2 players buddied up on the other side. And even then, they sometimes they've grouped up as a 5. And it looks like it's going to be a contact play yet again here on Mirage. Classic. 3 players towards Palace. A little presence towards mid with 2 players. Smoke to deny, information deny, vision. Keep the CTs focused towards middle. As soon as that happens, we should see a pop come out towards Palace. The smoke comes out, and it's the perfect time, and they decide to pounce. There's going to be 2 players lying in wait on this A site. Stuck on the ladder, though. Harbour Boys managed to find 1. KS does get a trade. 4 versus 4. Harbour Boys still doing damage. The issue is Wims. He's pushed so deep into the ramp here. Are they going to be aware?
XRT on the off angle on short. He is repositioning into ladder room now. But that might allow Vision to bypass through, and it does. It means he can get up onto stairs. In the meantime, Wolfie here, bearing down on CT. Harbour Boy behind the box, taken down. Nice headshot out of Wolfie. Pivots round, holding on to jungle. Still trying to find this second A site player here, but he's scarpered. He's down the ramp. Wims is now going to start to make his play, pushing his way up. Taking a little bit of space. XRT picks up Vision, and Wolfie goes down. Soulsland, they're on the board.
On the board. I really liked how Sam that round was for Soulsland. Despite the ruse going on in middle, despite all that presence being made to that distraction, they had a nice A setup, and the reaction due to all that mid-presence was to play a little bit further forward, to take that ramp control. And it meant the 3 players coming out of Palace, they had way too many angles to focus on, and they just got traded out. Especially because, again, there's 3 players. They decided to give up middle. Really well played from Soulsland. Sound fundamental. Granny's knockers were good, still able to get a buy out here, despite a lack of bomb plant. They got 2 AKs and a little 2 Deagles. They're more than capable, these individuals, to land some dirty headshots. Chaos getting the first there on the Galil, taking down XRT.
Westian underpass with that Deagle. He's going to fall back and his teammate's going to regroup with him now in the apartments. They're setting up for an app spot, but look at Sundance Kid. He's pushed his way up, he's so deep.
But this is a full sense of security because he's so deep, because he's got that early information. They've decided to lean towards his A site. He's going to peek in, and he's not even going to get one. A lovely Deagle headshot from Wesley. That's the B-bomb site open. Soulsland, while that information is early, it's not early enough. The site is going to be Granny's knockers, but good. Harbour Boy finds the first. Pax finds the second through the smoke. He's equalised things into a 3 versus 3. The retake is on. The issue is bomb already planted, and it's going to take some time for his teammates to come to join him. Yeah,
B site, a difficult site to retake. The one thing I want to highlight is that Kasynergy has got that Molotov. It force Granny's knockers but good players out of their positions with it. The issue is you've got to get past that threshold of the market door and the market window. The Molotov comes in a double swing. Perfect. Lovely time. Granny's knockers but good. They're showing some great fundamentals here. As we've highlighted, Wims now alone in a 1 versus 3. The 3-2-1 peak, giving Granny's knockers but good the edge. Wims going to be forced to back away. He sees him run away to save, but there's nothing he can do.
I'm incredibly impressed with the fundamentals we're seeing coming out from Granny's knockers but good. It's better than some of the first CTs we've seen. In fact, most of the teams I've watched, the fundamentals coming out of that peak, 3-2-1 peak, double swing, maximise your possibility of winning those engagements. And even if you don't win them, you maximise your possibility of having an insurance plan, and so you still come out on top.
It's so simple to implement as well, right?
Yeah.
All you've got to do is communicate. You've got to say, listen, Wolfie, 3-2-1 peek the door. Ready? 3-2-1 peek. That's all you have to do. And yet, we still see teams struggling with stuff like that. It comes down to, I guess, map awareness as well, like mini-map awareness. You've got to make sure that you know where your teammates are.
It's not difficult, but it is. It's hard to explain. It's so easy.
It's a simple concept, but it's hard to master.
Yeah.
So XRT struggling. He's dropped the bomb.
Yeah, he gets all that information, gets away with the frag. Now Granny's knockers are good, a little bit separated, but the frags are coming in towards their favour. 3 versus 3, and the trades come in. Hang on a minute, Soulsland have got an advantage here. 3 versus 2, bomb yet to be planted. And in a prime position to set themselves up for a retake as well with these dropped weapons.
Yeah, let's see exactly what Soulsland can do here. As you mentioned, that man advantage. A bit of utility on Granny's knockers, but good to be deployed. But they're running out of players. Wolfie goes down. Vision able to get one in response. But Wims, lovely couple of kills coming in from that retake on short.
And this is where those information plays come into factor. Soulsland, as mentioned, on an eco round, they didn't have full purchase. You had an MP9 pushing into underpass. They get that information that's going to be a B hit. Granny's knockers not quite with a good enough reaction. They decide to pounce as quick as they possibly can before Soulsland could react. But they were set up correctly. Pushing into underpass, I think it was XRT with that MP9. Guarantees a man advantage, and at that point trading out the CTs win it. And they've actually managed to break the economy for Granny's knockers. They've gone for an eco round of their own. Gone for 5 Deagles. We'll see if that aim that was praised earlier on from Wolfie coming to fruition with that Deagle.
Yeah, I mean, Deagle's scary, especially on a map like Mirage. You've got those long angles in mid, you've got the long angles on A.
And this is good Counter-Strike from Soulsland. They're not just playing a stagnant setup. They're leaning 3 players towards A, 2 players playing close, but there's Westy with a Deagle. Trade comes on in from Wims. But the fact he's managed to find that frag on the AWPer of all players, that's now the information on middle gone. They were relying on him being able to post up from triple box and the ticket booth on CT, posting up through connector to have eyes on middle. And
we say it all the time as well, a 4 versus 4 favours the Ts. The map hasn't got any smaller. The CT, each individual CT now has more space that they've got to cover.
Yeah. There's a hole in their defence.
Sundance Kid spots the info on B. He's spotted 2. This should trigger the rotation to come in, and they start to mow them down. The crossfire activates. It's beautiful. 3 kills spread across 2 players. Chaos alone, tagged down to 45 HP by the HG grenade as well.
It's one of the issues with the B site. It's so hard to contact because there's so many angles you're exposed to at so many different elevations through such a narrow choke point with those windows exposing you. It's not like you can get up close and pop. You've got to walk past that first window where you're visible before you get to the position where you can sort of filter out and explode. But 3-3, all things tied up here on Mirage. Again, this is Granny's Knocker's map pick. Going to be coming to this one with 5 AK-47s, a decent amount of utility. Again, trading is the name of the game. They're going to be focused on the weapons. All power in play for XRT, yet again. See if you can find an opening pick for that one.
Granny's Knockers but good have used quite a lot of their utility here.
They have. They've got nothing left to go for an execute. But again, like I mentioned, trading is the name of the game. They're going to go for the contact plays. Just a couple flashes is all they need. Keep those guns out to trade. Sundance hit those in a perfect angle to get two. Harbour Boy chimes in with one of his own, and XRT even finding a frag on the lurker with the AWP. It's just Wolfie left in the 1 versus 4.
Yeah, he's going to have to put that aim to use. The experience, grinding out these high-level games. Needs to try and get something going here. See if he can isolate some 1v1s. There's potential for one here, but Wims is on such a nice angle. He is going to reposition. He's a bit out in the open now. There's potential for Wolfie to catch him. There it is. Kill comes through. Wolfie gets the first. 55 seconds on the clock as well. Plenty of time. Bomb on his back. The information is given away, so Soulsland can react a little bit. You can see them getting a little bit more aggressive toward B on the minimap there. But really, it's all about the Wolfie show here, and there's a potential for another 1v1. Harvey Boy is on his own. He's going to hear these steps, and he's going to call for the rotation to come through.
He's in a prime position too. It's going to be so hard for Wolf to clear these fights, and with the steps heard, the rotations are going to come on in. It's a perfect bait and switch. As soon as he gets contact on the player towards ramp, player from stairs can just swing. There you go. Even then, Harbour Boy finishes it out. Simple as.
Soulsland retaking the lead. In fact, taking the lead for the first time.
Yeah, 4-3. Soulsland starting to look strong now that they've established a strong economy. And look at their funds now. Having relatively clean rounds means that they've got plenty of cash to keep buying.
And Granny's Knockers but good. Knockdown onto an eco. Westy preparing the classic lamp flashes. If you're playing Mirage, you don't know the lamp flashes, we got problems.
Yeah, what are you doing if you don't know how to flash how to do the lamp flashes?
So there we go, flashes come out. The issue is the Molotov, perfectly timed from Soulsland. It's going to block Granny's Knockers but good into the ramp. Westy still has a flash to use, but he's just thrown it. And now they're going to start the pop. Oscar rotating back round through Palace. It's all going to be about these kills, and there it is. Wolfie, headshot on the Desert Eagle. Swings wide, not expecting the player in dark. It's a stack on the A bomb site, and it's an absolute bloodbath. Just 2 players left, Oscar and Chaos.
We'll see if they can find any more headshots from the Eagles. It's going to be difficult. I doubt Soulsland's going to give anything away too soon. Only that bombing control. As soon as he does go down, peeking a little bit before the smoke pops. But now it's just Chaos. 1 versus 3. That tag through the smoke rotation. He does get finished off by Wims. And I think this is something which is going to be really difficult for Granny's Knockers to deal with. Is because of their lack of mid control, because they're not making Soulsland scared of middle, means that Soulsland are just able to play 2 players on A. Normally you'd have that second A player play towards connector in a position where he can focus his attention on middle and support in a very powerful position of connector. But instead he's playing towards A, which means this A site is basically on lock. You can't send players lurking out to take a 1 or a 2 versus 1 duel on the A anchor, because there's a second player there in their setup. Makes it super difficult to actually work Mirage when A's not an option.
Absolutely. Smoke blown open in middle. It's a nice attempt, but the issue is Granny's Knockers but good, ready for it with all of their players in middle. And so Wims is going to go down for free at the beginning of the round. Soulsland now forced to readjust their setup.
Yeah, now we can see Granny's Knockers exercise their sound fundamentals with the man advantage. Well, I always say the only way you can lose the game if you've lost, or lose the round if you've got a man advantage, is if you don't trade, and that's exactly what is going wrong here right now for Granny's Knockers. Just split up a little bit too much. While they were grouped up in mid, their spacing just a bit poor. Able to be picked off by Soulsland, and they're trying to go into short, forcing their way in now. It all falls flat here. Soulsland getting themselves a 6th round with 4 players surviving despite losing the opening frag.
Hearing a lot of volume coming from the players area off the back of that.
Harbour Boys up to 15 frags already. We're at 6-3 so far. That's in 9 rounds.
Stunning start to the game.
Yeah, perfect way to put it. I believe he's either the A angle or the connected player. Oh no, I'm incorrect. He's the short player. Now, and obviously, Granny's Knockers often going towards B so far. But now they split up into a default with these weaker weapons, with these Deagles trying to look for picks. Westy going down, Oscar falling too. Just leaves Vision and Wolfie in chaos. See if they can find anything. See if any of the Soulsland players fall into their crosshairs. Right swing, Nice shot from Wolfie. Harbour Boy going to continue landing some frags. Just Vision on this scout towards middle. Only lands a single tag. Harbour Boy adding a couple more frags to his tally. Chaos has managed to drop down to the B side. But no bomb, no hope. Sundance Kid is going to close it out. And Soulsland have secured a half lead.
Yeah, so I'm just double checking the veto here. So it looks like this is a Granny's Knockers but good pick here, which is why obviously Soulsland are starting on the CT side, and they're having a great showing as well. So our next map will be Ancient. It was just those swapped around.
Yeah, it's just the UI
left
was
over.
showing incorrectly. Yeah, the graphic.
So we will be seeing Ancient as the next map. But here on Mirage, Soulsland looking in control.
Again, like I mentioned in the pregame, I am almost certain Soulsland do love a bit of Mirage, and we can see exactly why. Their CT side looks very formidable. Synergy going for a bit of an information play towards ramp, a little bit unnecessary, especially considering the lack of presence towards middle, ends up falling into Oscar's crosshairs. Gives another opening pick in the way of Granny's Knockers. We'll see if they'll be able to hold on to this advantage here. Just waiting for a bit of re-aggression. See if Soulsland try and push to get their way back into this round. Looks like we're going to see them group up over towards A, which is going to be the right call. A is the weaker site. Soulsland opting to play retake here, not even spotting for information towards A. The only player they've got is Wims, and he's in connector, not even looking towards this A site. Granny's Knockers go for a contact play. Then they'll have a good timing. Actually, Wims is going to turn around. Utility's going to come on in, and he turns back around to look towards connector.
He's peaked in perfect timing. Wolfie can now get these bits of utility down into dark flashes, allowing his teammates out. A smoke dropped on the fly, interstitial from Oscar. A 1-for-1 trade. Chaos onto Wims, Harbour Boy onto Westy. There's another kill out of Chaos, which means there's only 2 players left for Soulsland. It's 2-man advantage for Granny's Knockers, but good, and the bomb's planted.
Yeah, the initial lurk of Westy getting taken down the middle, but Chaos just fills that void. He's pushing through that jungle smoke, finding a frag. Does eventually get taken down by Harbour Boy. 3 versus 2, and XRT lands a disgusting shot to take down Oscar. We're all even in 2 versus 2. Bomb is only half ticked. They have the utility, they have the smokes, they have the kits.
Closing the distance, bearing down on the bomb. Wolfie here in the Palace. Lovely shot onto Harbour Boy. 1 versus 2, but he's sticking it. And he's getting it. Vision landed it.
The AWP shot of all things. Normally, when you go for Ninja Defuse, the AWP is the last weapon you want in that situation to find some shots through a smoke against a defusing player. You want to spray so you can lay down multiple bullets that higher damage per second, essentially. But Vision, just in a split second, lands that AWP shot. Keeps Granny's Knockers in that round as they get their 4th. Keeps them actually in this map.
Very final stages, and an adaptation now at Soulsland. They've gone for the double up setup.
Yeah, this is the final round of the half. They can get away with it. They can afford as much as they want.
Contrast that to Granny's Knockers, but good. They've had to have Chaos drop down to a Galil. They've still managed to get a good buy for the rest of them, and there's a good amount of utility.
Yeah, Granny's Knockers still not really working mid-control too much in their defaults, playing towards these extremities, waiting for the pushes, and they're going to find it. Wims getting aggressive. Perfect timing. Catches Chaos off guard.
Chaos was holding for it as well.
Yeah, he was holding for it as soon as he went for a reposition. Is when Wims took contact. That's a man advantage going the way of Soulsland. I think he can get away with it. That's B-App's completely clear, and even if he wanted to, he could fall off mid because no one's watching it. The map control and information for Soulsland is paramount. It's astronomical in comparison to Granny's Knockers' presence. We've got a minute left on the clock, and only just now Granny's Knockers start to walk in towards mid. Vision finds a pick with that AWP. Taking down XRT, that's an AWP duel.
Shallow Molotov though, and this is going to allow Sundance Kid to work behind it. They're not going to expect him there, but he needs to land these shots, and he can't get any through. Synergy's picked 1 up. Oscar taking out Sundance Kid on short. Still a man disadvantage for Granny's Knockers, but good. Synergy here on the bomb site, pivoting behind the triple box. He's playing quite a passive angle here. He's looking to make sure he doesn't overextend, holding the angle perfect. Oscar caught. Vision now left in a 1 versus 3. Synergy switches to the Deagle. He tries to finish with the AWP. Vision's going to catch him. Headshot on the AK. He's going to expect a second player. He knows there's a short player now. There it is.
Hello.
Second player found. Final player's position is known. He can go for this bomb plant, safe in the knowledge that Wims is miles away.
There's a really strong possibility of isolating this fight. That's perfect. He fully blinds
it. Beautiful.
Vision with the 1 versus 3 clutch. The way he moved and isolated those fights was perfect. You could see he was getting shot from multiple angles, and he just managed to get himself tucked in towards Sandwich underneath the stairs, not exposed to short, to isolate that fight. Perfectly played. And Synergy's going to be kicking himself that he went for that swing in the 1 versus 3 to get Vision into that clutch.
Yeah, we always say the way that you play a clutch is you isolate 1v1 fights.
Yeah.
A 2v1, very difficult to pull off. You need some 6 spray transfer. You need the other team to fumble as well.
Yeah.
If you can isolate 1v1 fights, it's just perfectly played from Vision.
It's a strong half there for Granny's Knockers with 5 rounds. They've got a strong possibility of taking this all the way here on their map pick. Soulsland swap onto the T side though. It looks like they're going to be going for some sort of A pop. Smoke, flash, molly. Smoke gets dropped out towards jungle and one towards stairs, so it's 2 smokes in fact. Looks like CT control is going to be the name of the game for the post plan.
There
Flash
it is.
come into blind Chaos and falling off. Fully blinded, the Glocks just mow him down.
Barrage of bullets sailing through. The issue is Granny's Knockers are piling bodies into CT as well. Wolfie looking to take names, but it's all Soulsland. 3 kills fly through. The retake prevented before it could even start. Oscar alone in a 1 versus 4.
That is perfect dedication to the post plant there. He can land some shots, but Sundance Kid is going to finish it off. That's exactly what you want to see in those situations. Too many times I see teams, at least at the lower levels, especially in the UK, attempt that exact round. That exact pistol round is quite common. You go for the half execute on A, take CT control for the post plant, but so many teams just have that extra player just holding passively, holding for the push. No, commit all your players into CT. Use your numbers, trade out. That's all you need. Don't let the CTs isolate those fights with the USPs. It worked perfectly as they just mow them down in CT. Got a force spy coming out here. Oscar forcing with that MP9. He's actually managed to find 2. It's now an advantage for Granny's Knockers despite having the greater weaponry. AK now picked up in his hands. We'll see if Soulslands are able to recover this. They're all split up. All 3 players. XRT.
There's a timing
on
here.
top of the ledge.
Wolfie, I think, is going to have it. There it is. Kill found. 2-man advantage now.
So composed there from Wolfie not to overpeak that angle, knowing that he doesn't need to. He's got that man advantage. He just needs to catch a player off guard. He doesn't need to fight for information. That's just 2 players for Soulsland. They are going to group up. Wims and Synergy walking in towards ramp, but this is heavy, heavy A-lean. No doubt that the bomb was spotted earlier.
Yeah, see what they can get done.
They're starting to rotate off. This is a good timing that they've caught. Oscar is in a prime position with this rifle to guarantee himself 1-for-1 unless he's hard cleared. Even if he is, perfect headshot. Gets traded, but that's information. The rest of the players can now group up and react. And Wesley with the Deagle lands another stellar shot. Seems to be on fire with that weapon today.
Absolutely.
8-6, just 2 rounds away from tying us up. Brilliant upset round with that MP9. Soulsland not quite trading out against the weaker weapons.
Yeah, got to be a bit of a kick in the teeth, and now they're back down on the pistols. You've got a couple of Tech 9s, 3 of them, in fact, and 2 Deagles. Good amount of flashes. If they go for some sort of flash play, fast play, they could use the flashes to get them onto the bomb site. And it looks like
so many flashes.
They're heading towards B. It's going to be an absolute barrage onto this bomb site, and they've slowed down. They're playing at contact, which means they're going to let this Molotov expire.
Are they going to drop their flashes? Because if they all throw them, then there's going to be no one running out to kill.
It looks like they have some sort of prime set play here with double flashes. The entry player dumping 2 onto the bomb site, closing the distance. They can see them blinded up. Wesley pushed to the black line. Still able to get 1. Synergy with a nice kill. Traded out by Vision. But actually, the trade's back and forth here. Man advantage for Granny's Knockers, but good. Wolfie's been overwhelmed. 2 versus 2.
MP9 against those armoured opponents. In fact, no, they're not even armoured. Oh, yes, they are. A couple of them are. Yeah, Harbour Boy was armoured. Takes him down to 6 HP. Really weak armor penetration on that weapon. Goes down to 1 versus 1. So that's Kid versus Chaos. He lands the dink.
All it needs is a headshot, though, a 1 dig. But it's not going to happen. Chaos picks it up. Granny's Knockers, but good.
Just about.
Just about convert, yeah. And look at the economic damage. They've lost 4 players. Chaos, yes, has been able to pick up 1 rifle. But every single player on Granny's Knockers, but good, going to have to reinvest. Westy and Wolfie and Oscar are all super low on money.
They can't afford weapons unless they want to go for like an A1S with no helmet. Which, against the weak buy, you might want that helmet, you know. You don't want to get insta-headshot. But that was a lovely set play there from Soulsland. Again, you can see why, as I mentioned, this map is comfortable for them. Question mark as to why Granny's Knockers picked it. Brilliant reaction from Westy, I have to say, in the praise. Dropping the smoke, not playing behind it, not wanting to get overwhelmed from close range. And
he's pulled the shotgun out. We love to see it.
Love to see it.
He's been having a quiet game, but some of the kills that he's got have been pretty high impact.
We come into round 16 and mid-control already in the hands of Soulsland. Not contested by Granny's Knockers. Soulsland able to just walk into it for free because Synergy gets to the bottom of middle. No real information to be gathered from Granny's Knockers either because they're playing so far back. And Soulsland walked into it, essentially. There's not much to be able to confirm. Engagement happens. Oscar, a little bit of a fluffed spray. Does come out on top in terms of the damage, though.
Sundance Kid moving up on short.
They look like they're going to be grouping up towards B now that they have ladder control. They got XRT pushed up deep. In fact, I take it back. Bomb is towards A, towards D spawn. XRT is going to take contact first. Perhaps debate a little bit of a rotation.
Yeah, he's backed away, making noise, but then walked back in.
Oh,
Oscar, speaking of walking back in, straight in short, takes down Sundance Kid, gives his team a man advantage.
But now that ladder's been lost, Soulsland are in a perfect position to hit that A site. It looked like they're going to posture towards B with that ladder lurk, but now they're just going to walk out towards A, which is completely clear. I love this. Granny's Knockers playing full retake. They don't want to hold the site. They don't need to. Westie's even stayed around to catch down the lurk. Works perfectly. Now in a 5 versus 3, you can play retake on what is the easier site to retake, and a relatively easy one to do so. As long as you trade out, you've won it, and they do exactly that. Chaos with a double kill. Granny's Knockers going to tie things up here on their map pick and Mirage.
Yeah, it looked a bit scary, but they are starting to fight their way into it. Back again after the pistol round.
Harbour Boy's on 26 frags.
He's having a game.
26 frags, and this is 16 rounds in. That's absurd.
It's crazy, yeah. Really nice performance.
Yeah, a big part of that, again, is Granny's Knockers often were fighting towards B, and as that short plays in a prime position to mop up after the B anchor. But he is still hitting some nice shots. We've seen him have a lot of impact on the T side already, including that pistol round. Coming to an 8-8. We're going to see a half by for Soulsland. Hero AK in the hands of Synergy. Tech 9's pistols for everyone else. And this is something we love to see. Soulsland, I think they've got plenty of set plays in their book, in their playbook. It's like some sort of A-pop is the plan. Synergy with that AK towards Palace can hold down those long-range angles, almost play Overwatch, try and trade the pistol players at range.
And I love to see this as well in terms of the purchase. They're not over-deagling. They've got 3 Tech 9s.
Yeah.
It plays into the strategy. Often you see teams going for deagles on strategies like this. But instead, it's going to be the A-pop. There it is, Wolfie with the opening kill. Oscar picking up another one. XRT has dropped down onto the bomb site, but he's not expecting Vision to be that close to CT. Synergy's only able to get 1 on the board. It's a fairly clean round at Granny's Knockers. They get themselves a lead.
Yeah. It's a brilliant rotation, brilliant read from Granny's Knockers. There's no mid-presence whatsoever from Soulsland. So consequently, you can just say, look, if mid's not there, we're just going to lean heavier towards A. Play for the site hold, and it worked perfectly with 3 players there. 1 player towards Dark, CT, and Stairs. Coming to round number 18, we've got full purchase for Soulsland. 5 AKs, full utility. Same for Granny's Knockers, and it's going to be a heavy B lean here. 2 players. Got 1 player in towards underpass, so that's Wolfie. He can't really fall off here. If he pushes, he's going to walk into 4 players, setting up an execute. If he falls back, he's 1 player. Wait for 1 minute. Harbour Boy's going to line 2 up. The double headshot.
How's that happened?
He's up to 28 frags. He's having an absolute stellar game, and he's going to keep eyes.
Oscar's got the world on his shoulders. He manages to thrive in the chaos. 2 kills, brings things back into contention here for Granny's Knockers, but good. They've still got a man disadvantage, which is a lot better than it could have been, and Wolfie activates on the lurk. Sundance Kid taken down, 2 on 2, even up. Chaos locked out behind the Molotov. Wolfie throwing everything but the kitchen sink out of those apartment windows in order to try and close the distance down.
This is a strong off angle being held by Winston. The last 2 players are. Takes him down, and Wolfie, he's now isolated. Manages to find the first. Should know where this last player is, and oh, so close. What a back and forth round. Heroics on both sides. First off, you've got the Harbour Boy double entry to crack open that bomb site. Fortunately, they had a 3rd player in there for Granny's Knockers, and Oscar getting a double kill of his own before falling, battling against all odds to keep Granny's Knockers in it, as well as that late flank, or early flank, should I say, coming into it for Wolfie. But
yeah, I mean, it was an absolute hero play by Oscar.
Finish it in the end.
So, we've got an AWP out here on Vision. Wolfie with a 5-7. Chaos on an M4, as is Oscar. Westie on an AUG. We've seen that often being supplemented for the AWP, but they've got an AWP as well. Wolfie close to the distance, down to 5-7, and he's got completely wiped out. The lamp flashes blinded him up, and the second player in Chaos has been eliminated as well. Harbour Boy continuing his tear. He's up to 30 frags. We haven't even hit 20 rounds yet.
Good lord. Absolutely farming. This site here, this retake, completely not on. Westie, you should be saving here. Your funds are poor.
Yeah.
Run in towards the middle, find it.
Oh, no.
Westy.
Oh, no.
He's been landing some amazing deagle shots, but when it comes to the spray with the Org, that was just not on. Completely whiffs the spray, and now...
That's going to haunt him.
Yeah, Granny's Knockers have nothing to work with here. Just USPs, they're going to be full eco-ed, resting on $2,000.
Yeah, it's going to have to be the full eco. They need to build up a bit of cash.
With that round, Soulsland taking the lead. It's likely to stretch to 11 here.
Soulsland in a really good position to snowball in the rest of this map. Wolfie's taken space in Palace. I think he's going to be caught here, though. The shoulder spotted. Perfect shoulder speak. He's going to be able to fall back and just gets his head ripped off. Synergy, yeah, lovely stuff. Walking his way in.
Yeah, and still a passive default hold for Soulsland. Barely contesting for map control whatsoever. No mid being worked, just holding these extremities. Holding ramp, holding Palace, holding B-apps. Patiently waiting, and after they get the first, they're still going to wait for another. Wait for Granny's Knockers to get impatient, wait for them to make the next move.
Up close is Wims. A couple of nades being thrown into middle. Trying to bait a bit of a rotation, perhaps keep the attention in the middle of the map. Wims working his way out, gets the opening, lovely stuff. Nice and diligent, nice and cautious while clearing that angle, which you have to be when you're clearing it alone. He was still waiting for his teammates to rotate in.
Exactly. Waiting for the time, taking the time clearing these angles so you know his teammates aren't too far away. Going to be these three players now trying to find some exits. Maybe they can upgrade a weapon. I doubt Soulsland is. Oh, the whiff of Oscar. You can see he even gives up after whiffing, going for the reload. Wims somehow gets away with that one. Just vision left with the USP. He's going to be hard to hit. Look at this.
Now, I don't know if Soulsland are partial to a bit of trash talk, but I'd be screaming.
Oh, that would be brilliant if they were.
I would be absolutely screaming my lungs out. Have you missed that?
They would be fully getting into the UK culture there if they were screaming.
Yeah.
But 11-9. Just 2 rounds away from taking this to Soulsland.
And
Granny's Knockers,
but good map pick.
Yeah, this is their Granny's Knockers map pick. And they're going to be defending it with just 5 M4 A1Ss. It looks like another set play in the cards for Soulsland. Setting up towards B, a nice little pop. There's only one player here. There's no short player. The short player's in underpass, boosting up his teammate. It's just going to be Westy left to defend the site alone. Drops that smoke down towards the bench to block information. He's going to come behind the site, but he turns at the wrong timing. Harbour is going to continue his tear. Gets the second frag. He's up to 31. The site is just torn apart with no defense whatsoever.
Granny's Knockers, but good. Have to save these guns.
They have to.
They've got no money. They're broke.
Soulsland about to get themselves up onto map point. And if Granny's Knockers lose these weapons, they'll have nothing to defend. Nothing to stop Soulsland from taking the map here. Now, if I remember rightly, these teams aren't just fighting staying in the upper bracket. They're fighting to not have to get up so early tomorrow. If I remember correctly, the lower bracket starts earlier.
And that is a big aspect.
It is.
I know, even from my point of view, as a commentator, I'd quite like to have a lion.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a lion.
Everyone loves a lion. No one wants the pressure of having to get up earlier than they want to play.
Especially gamers.
Especially gamers. Their sleep schedules are already poor as it is, but playing with lack of sleep is always not the one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're a bit more cranky. Your reactions feel a bit more delayed. You can't process as quickly. And in a game like this, in the tournament,
physically, you might not be as warmed up.
Exactly. Soulsland on the verge of taking the first map here in the upper quarterfinal. XRT. Nice opening there onto Wolfie already. One of the nails slammed into the coffin by the AWP, and there's going to be another player walking in. Flashbang comes through. Chaos able to get one, but traded out. XRT keeps that man advantage. Synergy going for a peek out of Palace. Perfectly timed, takes down vision. That's A-bomb site cracked open. Oscar and Westy left to clutch it out. Oscar has been having a decent game. He's been eliminated. Westy's been having a quiet one. If there's ever a time, never mind. 13-9.
Solsland going to be closing out their opponent's map pick in what looked quite an impressive fashion. Yes, the scoreline was close, and a well-deserved close scoreline, as Granny Knockers, I was quite impressed with the fundamentals they showed, but at the end of the day, Solsland just a better team. They had the set plays, they abused the rotations, and they made the correct decisions in pretty much both their CT side and their T side, and I'm impressed with what they showed here on Mirage. Yeah,
absolutely, and now I'm looking forward to Ancient as well, coming up next. I think that's going to be a real interesting one. It looks like we are going to have a short break before we get into the next map. So, we're going to throw to a quick break. We'll see you in a bit.
Despite the war in my head said hello to you. You didn't notice my eyes. They were chasing yours all around the room. Chasing yours all around the room. I used to be in love with heartbreak, but now I need drugs to ease the pain. I used to wanna hide my love from you. I used to be in love with heartbreak and internal fires. Now those burning fires fuel my desire for you. Fuel my desire for you. Fuel my desire for you.
13-9 was the score on map 1. Soulsland picking up Granny's Knockers, but good map pick. We move on to map 2. Ancient, and the pick of Soulsland. Yeah. Tim, can't help but feeling they might be taking this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ancient was, as you mentioned, the map pick of Soulsland. With Mirage coming into it, I'm almost certain Mirage is one of Soulsland's favourite maps. So the fact that Granny's Knockers let them have that, and then the ability to then pick whatever other map they wanted in the veto, is a little bit questioning. It's a questionable decision.
If I had to guess,
in hindsight though,
if I had to guess, they probably haven't done too much research on Soulsland. I imagine they've gone into it with a fair bit of confidence, which is, well, you've made your bed. Yeah. You're going to have to lie in it now. Already a map down. We've gone to Ancient, the map pick of Soulsland. Yeah, but good fighting from behind.
The thing is, Soulsland have been looking really good. They looked really coordinated. They had plenty of set plays in their playbook.
Yep.
We could see when they had weaker money, they had bought plenty of flashes. They set up with these specific pops, specific ideas. They had game plans. They were all committed to the call that was made, and it worked perfectly. And even then, on their CT side, when it came into things, they played their setups really well. They adjusted their setups based off the information that they had available to them, and it made it really difficult for Granny's Knockers to actually get anything done, despite, again, the surprising sound fundamentals from a mixed team that they had.
Yeah, no, exactly that. If we want to, I think we go for a recap of Veto. We'll figure out how we got here. Bring those maps up. The initial couple of bans, Overpass and Inferno, those gone straight out the gate. And then we just swapped here with the order. Here.
So we've had Granny's Knockers picked Mirage first. Then we had the ban come out on Ancient, the pick from Ancient of Soulsland in that order, with Nuke as a decider. So if Granny's Knockers do manage to trade map picks, if they do manage to take Ancient, we will be going to that decider of Nuke, which could be an exciting game. Who knows what could happen on that map. But for now, it's going to be Ancient, and it's very likely that Soulsland are going to be the favourites here, especially after taking Mirage in the fashion they took it and the style of play they had. Come on to Ancient, which is their map pick. It's not looking promising for Granny's Knockers.
No, definitely not. But could always see that turnaround. There are, there is potential on this map for some absolutely explosive play with aim potential. Maybe less so than Mirage. But the opportunities still can be there. You can go for those hard entries in middle, up shelf.
On the T side, it's really difficult as a mix to actually work map control on Ancient compared to Mirage. Mirage, everyone knows how to work mid. Everyone knows the window smokes. Everyone knows the top mid smokes. Whereas on Ancient, that's not necessarily the case.
We'll have to see how this story plays out as we head into Ancient here. Our second map, the map pick of Soulsland. And they've picked up a Molotov, 2 flashes, distributed across a couple of the players. They've only got 3 sets of Kevlar here.
Yeah, they're going to be taking their utility over towards the middle. It's going to be fast A split here. Molotov to the back of Donuts. They don't have to worry about that. They can instantly focus clearing out this A site. Wim's jumping around, getting some information, trying to draw out any potential crosshairs. The site is going to be empty though. Granny's Knockers setting themselves up for a 5 versus 5 retake. Kit, Smoke in play on the back of Wolfie. Now this A site is very easy to retake, but Soulsland have plenty of time to set themselves up in a more than workable post plan. Holding down A main and donut control. Issue is Temple and CT. They're not really contested very heavily right now.
There is a kit in play. It's 5 players working their way through CT spawn. Wim's taken out Chaos, spotting the shoulder, and now Chaos ensues on the bomb site. Synergy comes in with a couple of kills on the Glock. And in fact, kills all going the way of Soulsland. It's just vision alone, and Granny's Knockers, they group up, they try and explode onto the bomb site, and they just walk straight into the crossfires.
Yeah, there's so many different angles, positions for them to have to worry about as soon as they take contact through CT, especially with the fact that Temple was not an issue. Soulsland didn't even have to look at that. They didn't have to worry about it. Therefore, their full focus could be on CT from every single different angle. And the retake just falls flat on its face with Granny's Knockers. Coming to the second round, they're just going to have USP's full eco, trying to make sure they can get a buy in the third round. Soulsland going to make light work of things potentially. Wims finds a double kill in the middle, gets that information. Now the Mac 10 Harbor farms some stats, trying to add some frags to that incredible 30 bomb that we saw on Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance on Mirage as well. Yeah. You know, perhaps if he wasn't having such a good game, we might have been looking at Granny's Knockers, but good. 1-0.
Coming to the third round, we do have that aforementioned buy coming out for Granny's Knockers. We've got 5 M4A1Ss, the slightly cheaper M4. We've got a decent amount of utility. No kits in play, so retake won't really, well, retake won't be quite so easy. Mid control or map control not really contested so early from Soulsland. It looks like they're going to be posturing, setting up for an A set play. Again, as we mentioned, they seem to have a deep playbook on the maps that they do play. At least that was the case on Mirage. Again, no map control in their hands, and consequently, Granny's Knockers are happy to say, look, you're not going to be fighting for mid, you're not fighting for lane, we can just play retake, lean a little bit heavier over towards A, do that with these players. Synergy on that lurk, trying to make a meal of things, but Westy going to land a lovely double dink. Now Granny's Knockers can focus their full attention onto this A hit. Oscar gets one, but he overextends. You've got one, you've got a man advantage, stay alive, play your life. Instead, now Soulsland have an opportunity to take map control. Fortunately, the rotation comes in super early through CT, and they've now got a 2 versus 4 setup.
Harbour Boy going to get that bomb down on the bomb site. He's really low on HP. A single bullet through the smoke. There it is. Vision catches him. Wims in a 1 versus 4 from Donut. It's going to be a really difficult one to pull through. Gets the first, looks to transfer to the second, isn't able to land it. Granny's Knockers, but good, are on the board here on Ancient. And
this is, as we mentioned, that pistol around the A side, very easy to retake, especially when you've got a man advantage. Oscar taking things a little bit lower with that 1-for-1 trade. With no post-plant set up, the frags can just come on thick and fast. It's so hard to fight on that A site when those extremities are so strong. CT, Temple, Donut. So easy to fight from for the CTs. Come to the 4th round. Still going to be a good bite for Granny's Knockers. In fact, they're going to have even more utility and an upgraded AK. Vision is, I don't know if he's yet to buy. Oh, there we go. He is going to buy. Going to get that slightly more expensive M4 A4. Soulsland, they're going to be going fast up towards B here. That Mac 10 Harbour Boy says, this fast.
Flash is perfect. Westy taken down, fully blinded. Already a man advantage. Soulsland bomb goes down. Vision swings in. Lovely couple of kills coming through. Spraying away with that M4. Gives a man advantage the other way with Wolfie picking up a kill. Oscar leaving Sundance Kid alone in a 1 versus 3, and he's miles away. Bomb hasn't even been planted. It was denied. But I suppose in the one hand, for a clutch, this is a benefit because it now allows Sundance Kid time to actually get into the bomb site. Clear angles on his own. Picks up the first, looks to transfer to the second. Wolfie gets it even at 2-2.
Yeah, a lovely round coming out from Granny's Knockers as they play that post plan or that post setup perfectly. Despite losing that opening frag, those 2 players surviving, they're going to have a decent buy. Going to still afford those rifles, but there's a lot of reinvestments to come out. Soulsland, if they do damage, they've got this hero AK. I love this. A hero AK setup. Get that rifle, set up for an opening frag. If he loses health, you can always drop it over. Best case scenario, he finds a frag, drops over another rifle to his teammate. Again, Soulsland not working too much map control early on initially. They're going for a set mid take by the looks of things. In fact, they've just thrown the utility and they're not actually pouncing off of it.
Yeah, they're stuck out behind these smokes here in mid, waiting them out to try and activate the AK. Synergy spotted on the ramp, fires off a shot, gives his presence away, trying to make himself look bigger than he is.
Still, minute 10 on the clock, and Soulsland have done a good job of baiting out all this utility for Granny's Knockers. There's no Molotovs in play, it's just 2 smokes, 3 flashes. It's not much to block with. They're going to be holding on to it so far. We see that third... Oh, sorry, there's 2 smokes still. Again, just posturing out towards this B side. Dance Kid gets taken down. Trade doesn't come on in. Chaos does well to get himself a double. Repositions for a potential third, but Harbour Boy, he's got that AK firing on all cylinders today.
Spacing a little bit messy entering cave there. But XRT's now been able to pick up an AK thanks to that kill being found. So Soulsland slowly equipping themselves with the tools required to win the round. The issue is still man disadvantage.
There's only 2 players here on this B bomb site. If they can isolate these fights, then they have a chance, but not Vision. And they'll land shots like that. It is eventually traded, a little bit delayed, but the information is there. Granny's Knockers can set themselves up for a retake, but Westy goes down 3. Not a single frag goes his way, but fortunately, as mentioned, those rotations come on in early, and Oscar catches them off guard with a double kill to close things out 3-2.
Yeah, well placed from Oscar. I question perhaps the location of the plant a little bit.
Yeah.
If the player on long misses that duel, it's not like they cleared deep long control and they could plant for long. I understand the intention, but yeah, exactly. Hasty, the word I used to describe it. Vision is on an MP9 this round, perhaps. Oh, in fact, no, okay. He's refunded, he's gone for an M4, which is a good choice because Soulsland's still able to buy.
Even us still getting used to the refund, you know. We pull stuff out and spawn, but when they move out.
Molotov is going to force Westy off in cave.
Yeah, this is the first time Soulsland really contested the map control early on, fighting for that B lane with multiple players, and yeah, a lot of damage on that spray. There's a narrow choke point, which more often than not, the CT is going to be stood in, whether it's holding down the ramp from close to the cubby or holding down cave from just outside the pillar. Takes Vision and Chaos down to 34, 35 health each.
Oscar here in Donut. He's going to be pressured by Soulsland as they do work their way out into middle. Synergy looking like he wants to peek it, but no, they're going to bypass. They're going to go up to shelf and take their way into cave.
The thing is, Oscar is in such a strong position. Just hold this pixel angle. He knows that middle is not a threat. Therefore, he can rely on this double setup in towards cave, where Chaos gets a double kill. Westy drops off, doesn't want to get isolated in that fight. Instead, he's going to communicate with the teammate, go for the double swing, and it works perfectly. A 1-for-1 trade comes in, but again, because that initial multi-kill from Chaos, massive advantage in the hands of Granny's Knockers. Soulsland's now working their way over towards A, but Oscar, he's not moved. He stayed in towards Donut here, and he's going to bypass them. Doesn't land the frag, but it's information. He heard the step. The rotation should come on in, and Wolfie taking temple control is in a prime spot to deny a post plan.
Yeah, he's going to creep his way out into the Brokey position, catches Wims. Facing down CT, Sundance Kid with it all to do. Gets the first, pivots looking for the second. Wolfie picks him up.
Crosshair was so close to the head of Wolfie there. I could see it happening, setting himself up for the 1 versus 1. The defuse will come on in, as mentioned, 4-2. Granny's Knockers certainly looking like a different team. I'll say a different team. Actually, no, yeah, I'll say it. They look like a different team here on their CT side of Ancient compared to the CT side of Mirage, at least. It's a little bit more akin to their T side Mirage here on CT Ancient.
Yeah, absolutely.
The double swings coming in, I love that from Westy. The fact he dropped off that box, as soon as that multi-kill came in, he knew he didn't have to overstay that time and just play it together once we've got that man advantage. And even then he said, look, let's just double swing cave so we can choose somewhere to fight, trade out the duel. It works well. Soulsland now, force buy, 4 AKs, Mac 10. Waiting outside of middle, again, not working this map control, quite set piece heavy. Going for the top of the middle, Oscar goes 1-for-1. And Harbour Boy, multi-frag, 2 kills again. Reaction's going to come on in from Granny's Knockers. 2 players coming out of cave to 2 players in the back and mid. But Wims found an opening onto this A bomb site. 2 versus 2. Bomb is not in their control. It's lost in towards the bottom of middle.
Yeah, that entire section of mid fights is reaction after reaction after reaction. Soulsland come out mid, they get a dink delivered. Wolfie tries to use the chaos to go through the smoke, deals with that. Then there's another push up shelf, and there's more chaos in mid. Absolute bloodbath. Wims finally tips the scales. Man advantage now for Soulsland, and they disengage. They head back through Donut. This is going to allow Westy in for a fairly fast flank. Question is, how does the timing line up?
He's heard all these steps, so he can go fast into Donut with his knife out. Little bit conscientious if there is a player staying behind here, but he's got a prime opportunity. Neither player exposed to Donut at this very point in time. He's going to be able to creep in close before he finds it. Swing comes out, finds the first, he's not aware of the second player.
Dancing around the box, Wims is going to pick it up. It got very, very close there for Soulsland.
That it did, but they do trade out. The set play comes in clutch as they trade out in middle. Multi-kill yet again for Harbour Boy.
Money in the bin.
Yeah.
Vision down on 1,500. The rest of the team should be ecoing. They can afford to maybe buy an upgraded pistol or 2. There it is. Oscar buying a Deagle. Vision's actually bought down to 1,000, so he's going to be on a really rough buy in the next.
Things with CS2, a lot of these weapons are more viable. And even on the CT side, if you've got a couple missed buys or a couple players on the weaker weaponry, as long as you have at least 3 of your players on strong weapons, it's more than serviceable.
And they have got a little bit of a set play in mind. At least they're staying together. They are going to get whittled down. Vision down a nice off angle in cave. Westy's picked one up. We're into a 3 versus 3 here, and Vision can use this opportunity to get in and take down the bomb planter. He can't quite deny it, but it's still an even trade. Westy and Chaos. Chaos with absolutely nothing but a USP.
All on the information he can gather to allow Westy to come in on the contact. Westy pushes through just a little bit too early. Chaos finds one, stops the AK, but can't get it out in time, and the aim punch. The Wims just finishes them off cleanly as Soulsland tie us up 4-4.
Yeah, I think he was perhaps expecting Wims to be playing further back in Donut, just playing for security of the round, but he pushed his way up to be able to trade. So catches him off guard on that retake. We're all tied up 4-4.
Yeah, and look at these SMGs coming out. We've got 2 MAC-10s and an MP5 for Soulsland, and it looks like, are we going to see a repeat of this B rush? Looks possible. Again, set play after set play for Soulsland, not going for this default heavy style of Counter-Strike.
The thing is,
bomb up the ramp, and they're completely separated from Granny's Knockers.
yeah, Granny's Knockers set up to contain more, so they're playing 2 players in cave. The issue is the picks have been found. They took out that sole lone defender on long, and now they've completely wiped out this cave push. Granny's Knockers should be saving these 2 rifles. This round's done.
Yeah, there had potential for Granny's Knockers playing for cave control. They could have set themselves up for retake, but getting that initial open frag, overextending a little bit, it snowballed in Soulsland's favour. Should be saving these weapons as mentioned. Keep them up. They've got no funds to buy next round, so these rifles will be all they have. What I want to see though next round, I want to see them set these rifles up. I say this every single time we have saved weapons. Put those rifles in positions to succeed, but not only that, have insurance policies. Don't just go for a rush with a rifle where there's no one to back it up, no one to pick up that rifle should they fall.
Yeah, there are options that you can choose.
Especially when the T's, the name of the game for them is always to trade out. So if you as a single rifler, say let's use Ancient for an example, go out middle, jump into heaven, peek B lane, you get 1. Yes, brilliant, you got that opening, set that rifle up for success, but there's going to be someone there behind to trade. So you're more than likely to lose that rifle if you go for that specific play. So you've got to have someone behind to pick up that rifle, keep it alive, keep it having an impact. Soulsland, though, they're going for this go-to sort of anti-eco round. Go towards A, the open bomb start with less tight angles to hide behind. Lock them out, no utility for retake. Oscar with that hero M4 has managed to find 2 on the tight pixel angle with the A1S.
Yeah, those long ranges pay for the A1S all day long. HG Grenade is going to slow him down a little bit. He swings out, Sundance get caught with the bomb out. Luckily, teammate's able to come in and trade. Vision, caught in middle, stuck in red room in fact. He's able to reposition and get out. Wims is going to pick up the kill on the re-peek.
This whole time, Wolfie's been lying in wait, waiting for Soulsland to continue their push onto that A site, but he's not rewarded for his patience as both Oscar and Vision go down fighting elsewhere. 3 versus 3, it's all reset. Weapons haven't been picked up for Granny's Knockers. Still just that single M4 on Wolfie. B site, a really weak hold here. Just Chaos with a 5-7, no armor on his own. Soulsland going to be waiting. They've got 40 seconds on the clock, hoping that Granny's Knockers give them something for free, hoping that they extend, hoping that they make the mistake first. But Granny's Knockers not going to give anything away. They're choosing to just remain stacked here. They've still got these 2 rifles. Westy's managed to pick Oscar's M4 up. He's in a prime position to play contact. As soon as this molly comes on in, Wolfie doesn't land the frag. He was holding for contact. It's just Westy now time to strike, but with no armor and low HP, it's a very easy trade for XRT. It's just Chaos coming on the rotations with a 5-7.
Yeah, he gets that kill. Doesn't have quite enough time to reset his aim, so Chaos well on his shoulders. And he is going to go for it, swinging his way in. Unable to connect the headshots. XRT picks it up. Souls round now 2 rounds ahead of Granny's Knockers.
That was such a disciplined play from Soulsland. As soon as they lost those 2 kills, they waited. Waited for the mistakes to be made by their opponent to allow them back in. And they were so patient. And even then, resetting, going for the potential trades as the A players, the players coming out on A main took contact first, or were set up to do so. With the exception of Wolfie being pushed up so far in Donut. They take the lead by 2 rounds, and now Granny's Knockers economy on the back foot. They lose this, it's all they'll have. It's another fast set play in towards the middle for Soulsland. Our boy taken down. He won't be getting any multi-kills this round, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as Oscar falls.
Wolfie walking in through Temple. The Molotov's going to prevent him from getting too aggressive over the top of it. Synergy dropping a Molotov. Trying to keep himself safe while he goes for this bomb plant. A Molotov return through the smoke, does a bit of chip damage. In fact, gets him down very low.
He's going to remain alive though. 4 versus 4 on this retake. The flash comes on into a successful retake, but the setup is even better.
A couple of kills come back in response though. The issue is Vision still left in a 1 versus 2 here. He's got an M4 and he's got a smoke. He can block the sightline in Donut. That's going to force XRT to come through the double sweep. The 3-2-1 is perfect.
Yeah, there was so much promise in the setup for Granny's Knockers in that retake, sending 3 players through Temple with a flash. But Soulsland are in the perfect positions for it. They had 1 player big box, 1 player default. They can almost set up a crossfire and a bait and switch to just mow them down. And now we come to the last round of the half. Granny's Knockers struggling to scrape together a bye. We have managed to get 2 M4s, 2 MP9s, but it's a Nova in the hands of Chaos. Cheapest shotgun available. And it's team kill.
Wait, what's happened there? Nade stack gone awry. Oh, it's an absolute bloodbath.
Oh.
They've all been wiped out.
That is not a good way to end the half. Vision left in the 1 versus. It's 1 minute 13 the clock. It's 1 versus 5.
Picks up the first. See what the guy can do. Smoke grenade is going to deny Vision into Donut, force him into Red Room, where he's going to pick up another kill onto Synergy. Takes a bit of damage, forced to reload. And the spam from Harbour Boy is going to ultimately be Vision's fate here. 8-4 at the half, Soulsland back in the lead.
Yeah, there was a promising group of 4 rounds towards the start there for Granny's Knockers, but the way they ended that, a team kill, 1 versus 5 in 1 minute 30. They're already a map down, and now they're 4 rounds down on their opponent's map pick as Soulsland come onto the defensive side of what is currently their home map.
Yeah, we've had Oscar drop out the server, so we'll hopefully get that sorted quickly. I think while we're here, we'll have a quick look at some of the other games. Raptors are currently a map up against the Bold, the Gothic, and they're currently 6-2 on Ancient, the second map. If we go over to Froggians versus Flow State, Flow State are a map up, and it's currently 5-1 on
That's
Overpass.
a lower bracket game.
And then Genetics versus Left Lean Gang. Left Lean Gang won the first map, and the second map, it is a 9-6 currently, this time in favour of Genetics.
Looks like Oscar's back in the server now, so hopefully we'll get that technical pause resolved as soon as possible. See what the pistol round has in store. At the moment, Soulsland have got 4 pieces of Kevlar. Sundance Kid got a single flash. Looks like the weapon has been dropped over because he has bought everything. Got no finances left. Still, again, hopefully his technical pause resolved soon.
XRT's dropped his gun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if something's been dropped over here. Maybe Sundance Kid has dropped over Julie's.
Julie's there on the floor.
There you go. You
HG grenade as well.
I'm looking at the UI and you're busy looking at the actual game. That's perfect. You got
Eyes like a hawk, mate.
Eyes like a hawk. Julie's and HE dropped over. So likely to be an early HE nade play, maybe contact play off the Julie. Set those Julies up for success in a close range position with its full 30 bullets.
The Julie's lethal in this game. I mean, they were lethal in CS2. We saw it creeping into the meta as well. We've already seen there's a couple of teams starting to, before we switched over to CS2, they were starting to creep into that 60% pistol win rate, which means it's less of a coin toss and more they actually have managed to figure out a strategy in order to guarantee a favourable outcome, which is something that, you know, pistol round's been criticised for ages for being a bit of a coin toss.
Yeah,
I'm still a bit out on them, to be honest. I'm not sure.
I like them. I think they're a good springboard. The issue is with the economy after the pistol. That's where the issue lies for me. I like the pistol round as it comes into play.
And so, on the T side, Granny's Knockers but good have got a smoke and a double flash on Wolfie. Now, Wolfie, the player who obviously is playing a higher level in Team CS. Yeah. However, I've got to be honest, I wouldn't want to have him on the utility. If I'm looking at this, at least on the face of it, he's having a quieter game. He's 4-8.
I think part of it is being that more experienced player. He's going to be the vocal component. He's the one who's going to be directing the play using his experience. And therefore, when it comes into setting rounds up, you can rely most on yourself to throw the grenades correctly.
That is true. Yeah, it's a balance. But obviously, with somebody with the aim power that Wolfie has.
Yeah, no, he's incredibly individually skilled. You want to see him set up for success properly. But it's going to be a difficult one to actually put a name on, you know?
No, absolutely. If we have a quick look at what's going on elsewhere, it's looking rough for Froggians. 7-1 on Overpass. They've already dropped the first map into the second map.
They're looking likely to be eliminated there as soon as they made the playoffs.
Yeah. K10 currently up 4-2 against 4NR Disposal. They did win the first map in a fairly convincing fashion. B-site, unfortunately, not showing the correct score. I'll have to work on that one. No worries.
What do you plug the B-site? Actually, explain to the viewers what B-site is.
Sure. B-site is kind of like a local version of the stats website that we all know and love. Yeah. Similar to how you have sites like Vacom for the French scene. You've got Dust2.dk, you've got Dust2.in, I think, for the Indian scene, and now SE as well. Bsite.uk, I want to do a similar thing. I want a score bot. I like having a score bot. I like being able to see the streams. Obviously, it's a work in progress. Yeah. It's this event is the first proper test that we've had for it. Obviously, it's been a bit difficult with me casting, but it seems to be working for the most part, and we're back into the game. Enough waffle, Tim.
Enough
I want this
waffle,
pistol round.
Enough plug-in, less focused on the Counter-Strike. And as you mentioned, Wolfie has got that smoke flash, no Kevlar in play. We've got Julie's dropped over to XRT, HE and Flash on Sundance Kid. And it looks like all 5 players grouping up for Granny's Knockers outside of the B site.
Yeah, a bit of a slow one. They're taking it slow, and they're taking contact into Cave, which they're going to get for free, at least initially. In fact, they're going to be able to walk so far up. Granny's Knockers, but good at taking so much space. Contact will finally be taken there. They've been spotted. The jig's up. Execute starting to come in. Harbour Boy with a nice advanced position. He's going to be fighting. Caught. Pivots. Oscar shoots him in the back of the head. Sundance Kid, quick with the trade. But now, Granny's Knockers, but good. Again, looking to beat that threshold. Get deep into the bomb site. It's going to be a brawl. Trades back and forth. Finally, Westy tips the scales with the Glock headshots. He's got a third. No, he hasn't. Chaos has picked it up. XRT alone with those Julies. His location revealed. Westy swings through and finally gets that third kill.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the setup for Soulsland there. They had 2 players on that B site, one of them playing towards the back line playing retake, the other being Harbour Boy in towards the cave entrance. He's so isolated, he can't fall back through short if they come up through ramp. So he's committed to these fights, but there's no one there to support, no flashes. It's a free frag, a free opening onto that site.
That's the exact thing, though. He didn't commit to those fights. He was behind that pillar. He looked like he was about to hard commit to the ramp while his teammate watched Cave. And then he turns around at the last second, gets shot in the back of the head by Oscar, and everything falls apart.
Coming to round number 14. Soulsland going for that eco. They've got a single 5-7 and a flashbang. Grouping up with 4 players over towards this A site. Wims playing in that red room. But it looks like Granny's Knockers, rather than doing the traditional, you know, site with those that exposed site against pistols, instead they're going to be working that default over towards B. Give themselves some extra reps of practice in how to clear these angles together. But they're going to find it's an empty site. They're just going to slowly execute here. Soulsland, not a player in sight. See how they set themselves up for a possible retake, considering they've just got USBs and a flash. Or maybe they'll just go to save and try and deny that exit money.
Yeah, denying the exit money and just denying the kills as well. Yeah. Like, yeah, you don't have much to save. You've got a flash, you've got a 5-7, but, I mean, combined, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to attempt to do the maths, Tim, because I'll make a fool of myself.
That's what calculators are for.
Exactly.
And people with math degrees.
$1,500.
Yeah,
I know. I said I wasn't going to do it. It's $1,500, $300 per player.
Oh, look at this setup.
Oh, I love this.
Stacked inside.
This is beautiful. They're going to walk straight into it. Chaos. Able to get one and get away with his life, and now a teammate's come in to assist, but even still, Synergy's picked one up, and so has Harbour Boy. So they've done a lot of damage on this exit.
And Harbour Boy's been able to save that Galil. That's going to alleviate a little bit of pressure on the funds for Soulsland as they come into a buy here. He'll be able to get full utility if he wants. Going to do that. He's got $2,500 left to spare, but it's a guaranteed full healthy buy for him. Come into round number 15. Granny's Knockers, they themselves still working with a MAC-10, a couple AKs, and they've had to make full reinvestments and only 2 players survived, one with a MAC-10.
XRT jumping up onto Shelf, the Molotov. Going to be a little bit too late, but he has been spotted and tagged by the spam. He's looking to have a fight here. There's 2 Granny's Knockers, but good players. Staring him down. He swings out. He picks up both. XRT.
That flash almost was enough to pull Westy's focus away.
And now Wim's holding for the trade. It's perfect.
Oscar and Vision, they managed to find 3 kills together. But just pushing through the smoke, Vision thinks that the B site is open. It's not. Synergy's still here, lying in wait. It's Oscar left in the 1 versus 2, and he falls. It was such a nice attempt. Soulsland, a beautiful opening, as mentioned, with that multi-frag coming in from Wims, who he himself is up to 19 kills, doing his best job at impersonating Harbour Boy's performance on Mirage, at repeating that. But yeah, lovely opening over towards Cave, but Oscar and Vision so close to gaining it back, but they just fall short at the end. 6-9 as we come into round 16. And it's going to be another force buy for Granny's Knockers. They know that they did a decent amount of damage to Soulsland to cause reinvestments to make sure they didn't have those excess funds. So any damage they can do here on this force buy would make their next round easier for them. On top of that, 2 AKs more than viable. You can set up these 10-9s in prime places to rush down in close angles, especially towards this B site.
5 stacked up. HE grenade. Gonna They do a decent amount of damage spread across the players, but the kills are going to come in. Sundance Kid with the opening, falling back and holding onto those back lines, preventing Granny's Knockers but good from pushing their way down. Doubles up even, spots the bomb, Planter takes him down, Plant denied, Vision in 1 versus 5.
Yeah, brilliant play from Soulsland. Clean round, only one player dying at the very end. Sundance Kid with a 3K playing retake, but I also want to highlight Harbour Boy in that situation. He's playing Cave, isolated from his teammate. They're not playing for the site. They're playing for that retake, and he knows being isolated, he's got to play for the map controller he has. So he decides, rather than to hold down onto Cave, he pushes into the next part, into that Jaguar part of Cave. And he just sits and waits, plays for the retake, hopes that he can isolate a 1 versus 1 fight and not get overwhelmed, and it works perfectly. Soulsland get themselves up to double digits here, just 3 rounds away from stealing their opponents, well, stealing this series, 2-0. Granny's is good, just got to consider he's going to mow them down. A 4K for him, padding his stats nicely, and Harbour Boy to close it out, up to an 11.
Was that a you guys go A, I'll go B with bomb? I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
4 players coming out of A main, and then it's like, just jumping through the smoke with the bomb.
Doesn't work if all 4 of those players just completely fall flat when Synergy gets a 4K.
Yeah.
2 rounds now away from closing out this series 2-0, from knocking Granny's Knockers but good, the first place team from Group A, down into the lower bracket.
Knocking the Knockers out of the server.
It's going to be a fast mid-control attempt from Granny's Knockers, but they've lost both their players in towards middle. The 2 cave players, or lane players, completely split up now. There's a strong possibility of isolating even more. Oscar has found one, but Wims closes him out. Wolfie now coming in with that experience, coming with a trade. But it's a 3 versus 2 man advantage, and information heavy in the hands of Soulsland as Synergy's pushed A main and catches Wolfie off in the back. It's just chaos left, 1 versus 3, and the double push, perfect from Soulsland. Granny's Knockers fall flat in their attempt to take any map control.
Worrying now for Granny's Knockers, but good, and I don't think we've seen a tactical pause out of them yet.
No, we haven't. It'd be nice to see it'd be nice to see a single tactical pause. See if they can assess what's going wrong. As far as I can tell, at least from that round, they went for a default, but all of them went to contest for that map control straight away. Not enough coordination, not enough resources invested in a single location compared to the set plays that we saw from Soulsland.
Wolfie, nice opening kill. XRT taken down, trying to get aggressive on Shelf. We're going to continue this aggression into Cave, holding the angle. He's going to get caught by Harbour Boy. He swings out, he's doubled up.
Harbour Boy.
Traded. Sundance Kid has picked up a kill, and he's doubled up as well. Oscar alone now in a 1 versus 3 to keep his team alive. Otherwise, they're down to the lower bracket, Tim. It's not looking good. The smoke's been blown open. Oscar still just stuck in Cave. There's nothing he can do. He's going to drop a smoke of his own.
They know where he is. They're just going to have utility thrown in his face. He doesn't have control of the bomb. And Soulsland just making a little bit of an information play here. Sundance Kid, he should spot the bomb in a second. Smoke being deployed to block the possibility of walking out. Isolates the fight, but a dink gets traded back and forth. And Sundance Kid spraying through the smoke is going to close it 13-6 on their map pick.
Yeah, I mean, Soulsland, really great performance in the first map. They've continued it in the second map. Granny's Knockers were good. They've had some signs of being quite a structured, not a structured, but quite a coordinated mix. They had some signs of greatness in there, but there were so many rounds that just fell flat, and it ended up being, Soulsland, I think, by far looked the better team, as you'd expect.
Definitely. They had so many set plays. You can see it's a very different style of CS, very much not default heavy, going for these set plays, but they almost always relied on set plays for those openings. But then when it came to the mid-rounds and it came to the late rounds, they had the discipline to wait and almost turn it into a default. Yeah. Let the defense reset. An incredible discipline shown from them, even on man disadvantages. Yeah,
absolutely. So that is Granny's Knockers, but good, dropping down into the lower bracket. Soulsland will be moving on into the upper semi-final. I'll give you a quick insight into some of the other games that are going on just before we wrap things up here. So K10 currently 11-4 up against 4-0 Disposal. They're also a map up. This is the second map, so they're looking to continue on. If we go to Froggians versus Flow State, it's 13-9. Flow State won the first map. It's 12-2 on the second map. Again, looking like a really decisive match. Raptors won the first map of their series against the Bold, the Gothic, 13-5. That was Inferno.
Decisive map.
Yeah, second map, Ancient, 11-6. Again, more decisive, which is what we'd expect out of Raptors. We want to see them going the distance in this tournament. Gentex lost to Left Lean Gang quite decisively in their first map of Ancient. Second map, they're winning. It might be going a 3-mapper here. Inferno, 12-10. So, also, sorry, Make-A-Wish. First map, They won against Chucklestorm Strikers, decisive, 13-5. Second map is looking a bit closer. It's 8-6 at the moment. Make-A-Wish slightly in the lead on Nuke.
What about Puffle Pals? They've got access to that game? Because that one I'm interested in.
We'll have a look right here. Let's see. I think it should be on here, I hope, if I've done my job correctly, Tim. So it looks like Puffle Pal's actually a map up here against I Need More Bullets. 13-11 on Ancient. We go on to the second map. It's 6-0 on Overpass. We mentioned Puffle Pals were having a tricky tournament. They've been struggling. They've been looking a bit shaky. They've clearly had a discussion, had a rest, come back into the best of 3 swinging.
Yeah, this is a really interesting match as well, because both these teams top 3 seeded in their groups, but because of Puffle Pals being upset, coming to 4th place, this means one of these teams is going to get eliminated here, and it looks like it's possibly going to be I Need More Bullets.
Either way, we are wrapped up for today on Epic 40, powered by Intel, the first Epic on CS2. I'd like to thank, of course, the sponsors Overclockers UK, MSI Draytech, our networking partner. And Noble chairs, of course. How could I forget the comfortable chairs that have been sitting in this entire time?
They're so comfortable, you almost forget about it.
You know, I feel like I'm just floating.
Yeah, it's like a cloud. It's like being hugged by a cloud, I'll be honest.
We'll be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us. Intel, of course. I think I mentioned them, Epic 40 powered by Intel. If I didn't, Intel. Get some Intel processors in your computers. We'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow. See you in a bit.
Hello Overclockers, welcome. Oh, screw this. Where's A-Pack when you need him?